watching the recording, but obviously the live stream is much more useful for you because you can ask you're free to ask any questions you have regarding Czech immigration, visas, residence permits, general questions or your specific situation questions, anything about health insurance, finding accommodation, starting a business in the Czech Republic, whatever it is you want to ask about, this live stream is for that. So you can definitely ask your questions regarding Czech immigration or anything else related to the Czech Republic. If you're watching the recording, of course, you can get all the knowledge as well, because we usually cover a lot of interesting topics, from like really family reunification visa, student visa now. That's very, very current and very like popular topic now, because now is the right time when you should apply for a student visa, or should start working on that actually. You should apply ideally like April or May maximum. If you apply for a student visa July and later, the chances that you will get approved in time and that everything will work out, depending of course on what country you're coming from, but they definitely decrease. So yeah, for student visa now is the great time to start, but we cover all the different topics from family reunification to starting a business, getting health insurance for your kids. So any questions you have, guys, please go ahead and ask. I'll be happy to answer those. Nelson, greetings from London. Greetings to London from Prague. I wanted to show you like outside, but it's dark, so you would not see anything anyway. Subhash, hi Subhash, thank you for joining. So guys, if you have any questions, those of you who are watching, type it in the chat and I'll be happy to answer. If no one has any questions, I'll go sleep. I'm drinking a coffee, but it's decaf, so it will not prevent me from sleeping. But yeah, it usually takes couple minutes before people start typing, or you actually started typing already, but before you type it, it takes some time. So usually the live stream starts becoming interesting in a couple minutes. So let's hope there will be some questions, because if there are no questions, I'll just finish the live stream and go home. Because I don't think I have any like recent topic I would like to speak about. When there is something important, for those of you who follow me, you know, I've done over 400 videos. So I've covered basically every topic there is possible in Czech immigration or business or health insurance. So you find all the information you can need on my channel. So just if you're not subscribed, go there, subscribe, and search through the live streams and recordings and videos and everything, and you'll find answers for any questions you might have. But if there is something new, some development or something that keeps happening, or if there are some like immigration changes or something, I of course will share it here as well. But today, again, the live stream is about your questions. So guys, please go ahead and ask something, because otherwise it will be very boring, me just talking and drinking coffee. Ella Gaeta, thank you for the question actually. When to start registered for visa? I'm applying Czech Republic here in Taiwan. Not sure what you mean, because also depends on where are you from. So I guess you mean when you should, like, or when the registration for visas start, or where they open appointments. Honestly, depends on the type of visa you have or you want to apply for, and depends on your nationality. Because for some embassies, there are quotas on how many people can apply a year, but people with some nationalities can like go around the quotas and apply at some other embassy. So I'm not actually sure what you mean, and you need to give me a bit more information for the context. Subhash, I've asked the Czech embassy in New Delhi about proof of funds. They told me that it's necessary to provide at least 3 months bank statement. It can be up to 6 months, but 3 months is enough. What's your thoughts on this? Well, if you ask them specifically and they told you that, do that. It comes from experience, I guess. Officially, the immigration law says that you need to show that you have enough money in your bank. So if you just get your bank balance, document, some like official stamped and signed document showing that you have 160,000 crowns. That should be fine. And we always start with that. We don't go for the 3 or 6 months bank statement, because all of that should be ideally translated into Czech. And if you have 30 pages of translations, that will probably reduce your bank balance by half. So we usually don't do that. But if you specifically ask and they told you bring 3 or 6 months of bank balance or of bank statements, do that. You don't want to have any troubles. And if you're from India or if you're applying in India, then that usually happens anyway, that whatever you submit in the beginning, then they request the bank statements later on anyway, because they want to see that you really have the money, that you just didn't borrow it from someone and like give it back right after you got the the bank letter. So they will most likely request it at some point anyway. So if the embassy told you and you provided, that should reduce the approval time, if of course you've had the money there. So hopefully this helps. Elagayata, working visa, do you mean an employee card, blue card, or the business visa? And where are you from? And why are you applying in Taiwan? Remia Viji, hi, how much monthly income should be shown to apply for family reunification visa DP? So I guess you're confused in a few things here. Like family reunification visa is a sticker in your passport and you don't need to show any monthly income, just balance. DP in the brackets, that refers to long-term residence permit, dlouhodobý pobyt, which is a residence card, that's not a visa. And for that, you need to show that you are making enough money. How much depends on a couple things. There are basically two parts that go into how much. First, that's something called a livable minimum. It's a theoretical amount one person needs to survive. And this depends on the age of the person and a couple other things. So let's say it will be different. The amount you need to be making will be different if you're just a married couple, 2 people, or if you have one child, or if you have 5 kids, because the amounts add to each other. But let's say if you're 2, so let's calculate with 5,000 crowns per person. So it's 5 and 10, plus then your accommodation cost, either your real accommodation cost or a general accommodation cost. Again, it depends on the number of people living in the family. So if, let's say your lease agreement or your rent is 20,000 crowns, then you need to be making 20 plus the 5 plus 5, so plus 10. So in total, 30,000 crowns, roughly like that. But I would need to know more to tell you the exact amount. But if you're 2 people, roughly around 30,000 crowns net, with the rent around 20,000 crowns a month should be enough. Vince Silva, does foreigner with long-term permit is allowed to buy real property? Yes. Yes, we actually did a live stream on the company's channel on Move to Prague Relocation Expert. So if you just search for Move to Prague or Move to Prague Relocation Experts on YouTube and you go to that channel, you will find the latest live stream recording, which is about this topic: how you can get a mortgage, how you can buy properties, mortgage and cash, what are the requirements, all that. We brought an expert into the live stream. So everything is there, but generally, yes, you can buy a property, you can get a mortgage, depends on your residence permit and depends on the property and how expensive it is and how much money you have. If you want, get in touch and I'll be happy to connect you to the expert we had the interview with on the main channel, and he'll be able to tell you more, like how much, for example, with your salary, how high mortgage you can get, or if you want to buy in cash, what are the important parts there. So get in touch and I'll be happy to connect you. What did I do? Okay, so Muhammad Ali Husnain Nawab. Hi, how are you? Could you recommend me few universities for Bachelor in Computer Science and how much percentage is required for admission there? Thank you. I could not really, because we don't really do university search. I can share my opinion, but we don't do it as a service. Because the thing is, if you are from a country that needs a short-term visa to visit the Czech Republic, then the process of getting a student visa, the long-term one, or student residence permit, might be a bit intense for you. They will ask you a bunch of questions about like why you chose this program, why you chose this school, why Czech Republic, what do you want to do afterwards. I've done another video just about the student visa questions, the interview questions. And if you say, hey, I chose this school because some guy told me on YouTube, or because this agency is affiliated with this school, then it very much increases the chances of denial, because your motivation to study in Czech Republic is very low. You just paid someone to give you, get you enrolled, but you don't really care what university it is. So from this perspective, that's one of the main reasons why we don't provide the service, because if you want to be able to pass the interview, you need to have a solid case, very strong reason to live in the Czech Republic and study this particular school and program you've chosen. So we don't really help with that. But for technical, for computer science, I would probably go with ČVUT or VUT. That's the Czech Technical University, and I think the programs there are the best. But there might be other schools as well. So I would recommend just Googling it, comparing different programs you see, and then choosing based on some real criteria you have for the school. Amal T. Martin, how can I get Czech Republic Embassy appointment for long-term visa? It depends on what long-term visa you're applying for and in what country. So if you tell me more, I'll be happy to share more tips. Subash, what if I have the necessary money, but I deposited the whole amount in just 2 months? Is it acceptable? Have you handled any candidate with such a scenario? Well, it's okay. They can definitely ask you about that. What is most important is that the money will stay there during the whole approval process. Okay, so now you have enough. So you started, the required amount is 160. You started on 60, then you had 100, 115, then 150, now you have 160. That's okay, as long as you stay above 160. Because what can happen is that the ministry will start evaluating your case maybe 3 months from now, 4 months from now, whatever. And at that point, they might request a new bank statement from you. And if at that time when they request it, you no longer have that money, that's a valid reason to deny your application, because the requirement is 160,000, you don't have 160,000 in your account. Or if you have it and they see that you just deposited there, when they requested that, then you didn't have the money there, but when they requested that, you deposited that there, that will be also a reason to deny your visa. So if now it took you some time to get the money there, and now you keep it there during the whole approval process, you should be fine. Abhilash Keiraj. Hi Abhilash, thank you very much for joining. If you have any questions, please ask. Ice3 Peak, I speak, I cannot read that, sorry. So all the people in this live stream is interested in moving to Czechia. Well, hopefully not to Czechia. I don't really like the word. It's very weird what happened with that. I prefer Czech Republic. Hopefully, yes. Many of them are interested in moving here. Some of them already live here. Some of them had just their visas approved. So yeah, I think so. What's your situation? I guess you're not interested if you're asking the question. Vipul003, we provide jobs in USA. Good for you. Probably nothing to do with this channel, but okay. Ragham Elhami, why do Czech embassies refuse a lot the Czech language preparatory course, and I'm from Egypt? Well, you always need to have a reason to move to the Czech Republic, something serious and real reason. Czech Republic is not very open visa-wise, so Czech Republic doesn't, like the digital nomad visa, which we have now, the program, is the most advanced thing or most open thing Czech Republic has, and it's very limited anyway. It's only open to 9 nationalities and 1 field of business, which is IT. Other than that, no one can apply for the digital nomad visa, and that can tell you probably much about how progressive is the Czech Republic with visas, like not much. So Czech Republic doesn't want foreigners to come here if they are not really interested in living here and doing something here. And honestly speaking, Czech language course, like, why would someone want to study Czech language? Like, why? You know? So for the Czech Republic or for Czech immigration, it seems like you're just doing it because you want to get an EU visa or Schengen visa, but you don't really like care. Because why would you study Czech language? If it's a preparatory course for a university, then it's something different. But it also depends on how high is your motivation to really study afterwards, how you are prepared for that, if you already know what exactly you will be studying, why, all that. So I think it's about this, that they try to filter people who are real and who want to really like study here and do something in the Czech Republic, and they have a valid reason to do so. And those people who just try to get an EU visa because they are seeking a better life or whatever, and who don't really want to do what they say they want to do. Abhilash Keirash, is it possible to do freelancing work while working in one company with a blue card? Yes. You can have employment and be self-employed at the same time. Just if you have the blue card, you always need to keep the job, the employment. If you don't keep the employment, the blue card, let me move here. Very professional. That was too far and my back started hurting. So now, good. Yeah, so the blue card is dependent on your employment contract. So as long as you keep employment, then you can freelance on the side. So you can get a trade license, you can run your own business, you can provide your services. That's all good. It's actually even good for you from the perspective that you, at least the first year, you don't have to pay the monthly fees for Social Security healthcare because that's being deducted from the salary. The next year, it depends on your income. If the income was high, then you might need to pay the monthly fees, but if not, then you might not. So you can do that as long as you keep the main job. Frederick Ismail Ouba. What if the spouse spent 1 month abroad out of EU for holiday? What do you recommend? Apply immediately when reached the 2 years without taking into consideration the 1 month abroad, or must think and see you? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Let me see if you wrote something before. I don't think so. So the only thing which I think you might be referring to is if you are a close family member of an EU citizen. So if your spouse is, you are a non-EU citizen, your spouse is an EU citizen, the spouse can apply for a permanent residence permit after 2 years of living here. But that only applies if you are a Czech citizen or if you are an EU citizen who has a permanent residence permit in the Czech Republic. So if you are an EU citizen but you don't have a permanent residence permit in the Czech Republic, your spouse cannot apply for a permanent residence permit because you don't have it. But if you are a Czech citizen or if you have the PR, then your spouse can apply after 2 years. If she or he were away for 1 month, it doesn't matter. So you can apply right at the 2 years mark. 1 month is not a problem. If they spend like 6 months away, okay, I would probably wait for a bit, but yeah, other than that, I don't see any problem with that. Amal T. Martin, I'm from India. Let me scroll back to see the question. How can I get Czech Republic embassy appointment for long-term visa? Okay, so the second question, what is the long-term visa you're trying to apply for? And then I will answer the question. Is the University of West Bohemia in Pilsen good? I guess it depends on what you want to study. I'm honestly no expert in universities, so I cannot really compare. But the university in Plzeň was famous pretty much a few years ago because there was this situation which appeared that or was discovered that they basically were giving diplomas to people in exchange for money. They were basically selling the diplomas without you actually studying the school. So you could just go to the university, pay them like 2 million crowns or whatever that was, and they would give you a diploma. So this was this kind of fraud, but it was years ago. I think like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or something. That was a pretty big thing here. So maybe a bit of the credibility of the university got distracted. That's yeah, it's a public university, so I'm sure there are some good programs there. Nick Buddha, how many years of TRC do we get once you complete your visa or finish in studies and get in a job? Not sure exactly what you mean, but let's say I'll explain everything. So hopefully that will answer your question. So if you're studying in the Czech Republic and you finish your studies, if it's an accredited program, if it's non-accredited program like some private university or I don't know, language classes or something, that's not the case. But if you finish an accredited program, bachelor's, master's, you get a Czech diploma, then you can apply for a special residence permit called a job seeker residence permit, and it's meant for finding a job or starting your own business. And that can be given to you for 9 months. So you can stay in the Czech Republic for additional 9 months after you finished your studies and look for a job or start your own business. Then if you find a job and you switch to something, it depends to what you switch to. If you switch to an employee card, the maximum validity of the employee card is 2 years. So you will get a residence permit for 2 years maximum. If you switch to the blue card, then the validity of the blue card is 3 years, up to 3 years. So you can get the residence permit for up to 3 years. Amanda Mpofu. I haven't received response from Czech Embassy in Zambia for visa appointment application, and it's been 10 working days since I applied. Website says response usually comes in 5 days. Should I be worried? Well, it depends. I don't know how it works in Zambia. We had some clients there not that long ago, but I don't think I was dealing with them myself, so I don't know the exact procedure. Usually at embassies of these kind of countries, let's say, because African countries and most Asian countries have a similar system that there are limited spots. So usually there is some system how you apply for an appointment. Usually it's like 1 day a month or 1 day in 2 months or something. And you have to send an email in a specific format, including specific attachments. And then you hear back from the embassy and they tell you if you got or didn't get the appointment. But if you don't follow the instructions, for example, you don't attach all the attachments are like incorrect because they have to be in PDF and you attach it as a picture, or if you send it to an incorrect address or you don't include all the information they're looking for, they don't even need to reply to you. So either you made some mistake, so they didn't even they will never reply to that email, or maybe there is just they had so many applicants that they just didn't have time to reply yet. So I would give it a few more days, and if you don't hear from them, then consider it as not getting an appointment. Amal T. Martin, I'm from India. I have work permit. Oh no, come on, Amal, please. Share this information, share my videos with everyone you know, everyone in India. Please share it everywhere to 1.5 billion people. Share it so they don't get scammed as you did. I repeat this every time, every live stream I do. I've made videos specifically about that topic. Guys, if you're from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, anything around there, don't pay anyone to get you a work permit. That's a scam in most cases. I had one person who was calling me and they were, I guess I've never met with them, but they were trying to meet me and beat me up for saying this, that you should not do kind of exposing scammers. But I just need to say that, I want to say that companies offering you a work permit, you've just spent your money for nothing. How it works in India is that if you want to apply for an employee card or meaning that you got an employment contract in some Czech company, and you want to move here for longer, not the seasonal work visa, I'm not talking about that, that's a scam as well, but I'm now talking about the employee card. You will never get an appointment. There are no appointments, zero, nada, nichts, nothing, no appointments in India for employee cards. So you will, if you have 10 employment contracts or work permits or whatever you call it, then you will never apply. Okay, so you got a work permit, but you cannot do anything about that. You cannot do anything with that. So, and I guess the companies, there are two options. Either the companies who sold you the work permit know that and they are scamming you on purpose, which is bad, or they don't know that and they are scamming you without knowing that. And I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but in either case, you will never get an appointment. And for seasonal work visa, it's a bit different, but it's the same type of thing. There are appointments, but they're very hard to get. So if you, guys, before you pay someone for a work permit, ask them, can you guarantee that you get me an appointment at the embassy? If not, will you refund my money? And then see what they tell you. If they tell you, we cannot guarantee anything, we don't refund anything, don't do that. As you end up like Amal T. Martin, who I'm sure paid someone to get a work permit, but he will never be able to use it because there is no way to use it in India. Anyway, Subhash, why does the Czech Republic have brutal immigration regulations, especially for Indians and its neighboring countries? I guess the Czech Republic doesn't want Bangladeshi, Sri Lankans and Indians in the Czech Republic. Well, that's like just simply said, but it's a bit more complicated than that, I would say. Because Czech Republic is pretty small and pretty new to immigration, I would say. It's like just 30 years of immigration. Before that, no one other than from the Soviet Union could move here. So we're still setting up the rules and trying to find out what's the right balance. And Czech Republic is a very small country. It's like 10 million people. It's like one Indian city, you know? So we cannot really allow like millions of people to move to the Czech Republic. That would not work out. So there must be some limit of how many people can come here. So there must be some limitation. The Czech Republic cannot give like million visas a year because that would be 10% of the whole population, you know. So in 10 years there would be more foreigners than Czechs. So that cannot happen. So that's one thing. Second, then it's about like the quotas and everything. It's about politics. So what countries we want to have a good relationship with, that influences that. Another thing is also the scam rate, let's say. So if the ministry sees, and this happens in India as well, and I try to warn people not to do it. I'm not sure how I'm doing or not. But let's say if you're from India, you know you got the work permit, you know you cannot use it, you never move to the Czech Republic to work here. Then your thought might be, okay, so I will get a student visa because it's easier. And then as soon as I come to the Czech Republic, I'll get a job and switch to an employee card. That's doable. You can do it like that. If you convince the ministry that you want to study in the Czech Republic, they give you the student visa, you find a job here and you switch, you can do that. But what you've done is that any person who will come after you will not get not only the work visa, the employee card, but they will not get the student visa either, because the ministry will see that it's just, you don't really want to study in the Czech Republic. You just want to get the student visa because it's easier. And then you switch to find a job and switch to the employee card. So at some point, if people do it and abuse the system, they will like give a ban to Indians completely and no one will be able to move here at all from India or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or Nepal or around there. Okay, so it's also about how people behave. If all the Indians come in here, or I'm talking about Indians because you have to all apply in India at the Czech embassy in New Delhi, but I'm talking about Bangladeshi, Nepali. If all people from these countries come in here were like honest people, and if they said they want a student visa and they really studied the whole time, they got the degree and then found a job or something, there would be no problem with that. But if they come here and immediately switch to an employee car or blue car or something, then it gives the ministry like information that it's not real and that they are like, I don't want to say cheaters, but abusers of the system, and that influences the immigration policy for next years. In some other countries like Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, people cannot really get any types of visa or short-term visa because there are plenty of fake marriages. That usually the story is, I'm not meaning it. I'm just giving you an example of how it all works. I'm not saying everyone is the same. I'm not generalizing. I'm not saying everyone from Egypt or Algeria, Tunisia is a scammer or like whatever. But what often happens is, or if this happens, then the ministry has to react. So a Czech lady goes to Egypt for a summer holiday, then she falls in love with the local guy and she marries him, and then she wants to bring him to the Czech Republic. That's like a common story. And what happens often, I guess, is that then the person gets here, the married guy, and then he like divorces the lady, or he doesn't divorce the lady and moves to Germany or something. So the ministry, if they see this pattern, they will react. Obviously, if they see that like 90% marriages of like Egyptians and Czech are fake, why they would approve like any more visas like that? You know, why? If they know it's fake, why they would do that? So it's part of that is Czech Republic and like the rules here and how big it is, all that. But part is also you guys and how honest you are with the government and how honest you are with really wanting to study in the Czech Republic, working in the Czech Republic, or how not honest you are. And the ministry sees all this because they see all the data from all the foreigners coming here. So they do the policy based on that as well. So that was a very long answer for kind of a short question, but I think I wanted to elaborate on that. Shekar, I'm a freelancer. I have family reunification residence permit. So can I submit my tax return documents along with my spouse payslips, who has employee card, for extension of my residence permit? Yes, generally yes. Question is if you need to do that. If your spouse has high enough salary, then it's okay. If not, then of course you can combine your incomes. Omar Designs. Hello, I'm present today. Just to confirm, did it disappear like some kind of magicians? Well, that would be actually interesting if you disappeared like a magician. But thank you very much for joining. Happy to have you here. Sheikh Mansour. My Czech Republic appointment is realized in very less. Not sure what you mean by that. Liton Alom. How can change SRO to company possible? I don't know what you mean by that. SRO is a company, so I don't know what you would like to change there to what. Lillian Makamu, can you renew a 3 months work permit? If you mean an employment contract, because work permit, there is no like word like that. There is a permission to work, which is issued by the labor office for you to work on, like permission to work on a specific position, or there is an employment contract, which allows you to, or basically that's a job offer from a company. So work permit doesn't really exist in Czech immigration, but if you mean an employment contract, that means that you use it for a short-term visa, probably like a short-term seasonal work visa, and short-term visas cannot be extended. So once you reach 3 months, you have to leave. You need to be outside for 3 months, then you can come back again for another 3 months. Abhilash K. Raj, is there any registration needed to do freelancing? And what about taking a trade license, like cost of registration, time required? And are there any specific requirements to do small-scale home-based design and fabrication works? Okay, so to get the trade license, I've done videos about that. We have an article or a couple articles on movetoprague.com. If you go to the blog section and just search for trade license, you will find a couple articles. So you need a couple of documents, but it's relatively simple. process. The only thing which might be complicated is a criminal check, because generally you need a criminal check from the country of origin with all the apostille, super legalization, whatever, and officially translated into Czech. So that's usually the only kind of limitation for non-EU citizens. Other than that, it's relatively straightforward. You can get the trade license within 3 to 5 business days. You then also need to register with the Social Security, healthcare, tax office, depends. And then you can start working. So it's relatively straightforward. We like that service. It's a lot of work, like running to different offices, but it's one of the easier parts of the immigration processes in the Czech Republic. Well, specific for there, let's say there are 2 types of trade license. Again, I've made a video about that where I go into details. So just go to the channel and search for a trade license and it will get you the videos. But there are generally 2 types of trade license: unqualified and qualified. For the unqualified, you don't need to meet any qualifications, you don't need any education, nothing like that. So you can just choose whatever trades you want. There are 82 different trades, 82 different fields of business in which you can work. So that's easy. You don't need any qualification for that. But then there is the qualified trade license, which means that if you want to get this type of trade license, you need to prove your education or qualification, experience, whatever. So many people from India, which I know, like try to sell their homemade food, be it any kind of cookies or sweets, or be it like be it a meal, but you cannot really do that. That's a bit more complicated, because if you do something wrong, if you don't have the proper hygiene, if you don't have like meat split from vegetables and all that, you can like kill people, you can cause serious trouble, stomach aches, all that. So that's a regulated business, and you would need to have like, it would be way more complicated to do that officially under the trade license. But if you just want to do design and fabrication, that should be completely fine. Sam iPad, what options Americans have to retire in the Czechia? Please no English tutoring, smiley. Well, I mentioned that before in this live stream and many times before. Czech Republic is not really open country visa-wise. So there is no retirement visa, there is no golden visa, there is nothing easy you can get. So there is no way for you to just come here and retire and like live here happily ever after. If you want to do that, you need to have you will always need to kind of fake the application in a way, or you will need to find something active you really want to do. So you will need to find a job, you will need to start a business, maybe as an English teacher, which is the easiest way anyway, or have a local wife or husband or whatever, move based on that. Maybe study, but if you want to retire, I'm not sure how realistic that would be to enroll into a bachelor's degree and start studying from the visa perspective. So it's not like we don't have any retirement type of visa or any simple like investment type of visa that you just buy a property here and you can live here like forever. You always need to have some official active purpose of stay. So you will need to find some active way of getting a visa. Hey, I'm Sarat Kumar. Nice to meet you, Sarat Kumar. Thank you for joining. After long-term visa rejected, is it possible to apply for residence permit? It kind of depends, because if you got a rejection, any future application might be a bit more complicated. Depends on, of course, what was the reason for the denial. But if you can apply for actually the long-term residence permit, depends on what is the purpose of your stay. If your purpose of stay is business and you applied for a business visa and that was rejected, you cannot really apply for the residence permit based on the visa or based on business, because that's not an option. If you apply through an embassy, you only can apply for a long-term visa with the business purpose of stay. So it depends on what you applied and what's the general or what's your concrete situation. Nora Azione. I'm definitely mispronouncing all of your names, guys. Sorry for that. I want to apply for a visa to study 1 year intensive Czech language course. So what do you think? Well, I talked about it a couple minutes ago. Depends on why. Like there is no reason really for you to study Czech language. So if you just want to study Czech, the chances of approval, in my opinion, are pretty low. Of course, depends on your nationality and the whole story and everything. But generally, like, why would someone want to study Czech language, which is only spoken by 10 million people in the world, and you cannot really use it for anything? So you would need to have some like, you would need to know like a bit more. You would need to think a bit ahead and see, okay, I want to study Czech course because if I if I speak Czech, then I can study universities for free. Or I have this job offer, but they told me that I have 1 year to speak the language, and if I speak the language, they will give me the job offer. So that's why I'm here. So there must be some like real reason why you want to study. Other than that, I would probably not do that. Nadar Khan, waving to you as well. Drukul, hope you are good and well. Mainly we are facing appointment for a Czech Republic appointment in India. Do you have any suggestions about that? Work permit is damaged now. You're talking about student visas. How is possible for like us, sir? Because my age is now 40 and I study only 10. So if I will marry again and my wife will kill me, that's why I can't marry again. And my personal request to you, sir, if I can manage documents for visa in Schengen country, I will be grateful for you. Okay, so there is a lot to cover. Of course, I would not like you to be killed by your own wife. Now, like, first of all, we don't really process Schengen visas, so short-term visas. We don't really do that because we are in the relocation business. So we help people move here, not just visit. And Schengen visas are generally for visitors only, so we don't deal with that. We only deal with the Czech Republic as well. So we don't do visas for Germany. We don't do visas for any other countries. Just expand it in the future, but not now. That's one thing. Second, yes, you are right that the work permit visa or whatever, that's not working in India. It can only work if you find employer which is enrolled into one of the governmental programs, or if you find like really high paid job, and if you have at least bachelor's degree and you find a job that pays, let's say, at least 70,000 crowns, then you can apply for a blue card, and there are no quotas for blue card, so it's possible to get an appointment and get it actually approved. I would definitely, but from what you write and how you write it, I would say that you don't really care if it's the Czech Republic or if you study here, if you work here, or if it's Germany and you study there or work there, or if it's something else. Then in that case, I would definitely not recommend trying in the Czech Republic, because as I explained many times before, if you're trying to fake the application, especially if you're from India or if you need to apply the Czech embassy in India, it will be very difficult for you. It will be a very long process. And if the ministry finds out that you don't really have the real motivation to live here, they will deny the visa anyway. So I would probably try a different country where the rules are maybe a bit easier. Subhash, I've managed to get an appointment at the embassy when they will give the dates for our visit to the embassy for filling the application. If you manage, okay. Well, it depends. We've got all the appointments we needed for our clients since December, I believe. So December, January, February, and now March. We've got all the appointments, and they're usually between a week and 3 weeks, let's say. So if we get the email from the embassy today, it can be an appointment for next week, for like Wednesday, Thursday next week, or it can be like 3 weeks in advance. It's mostly in this range. Can be a bit different, but I would say 1 to 3 weeks. Moen G Art Studio. What is requirements for getting driver's license for long overhaul trucks? What is required for one to start a business in Czech? I'll start from the back. It depends on what country you're from and what kind of visa or residence permit you have. If you are an EU citizen, no problem. You can start a business here. You can set up an SRO company, limited liability company, or you can just get a trade license. Either way, it's pretty simple. If you're a non-EU citizen and you already have some valid visa or residence permit in the Czech Republic, long-term options, then it's generally possible for you to start a business as well. Might just be a bit more complicated because you might need to get the criminal check from the country of origin, all that, but it's okay. If you're a non-EU citizen and you don't have a visa, that's the most complicated thing. And for that, refer to one of my videos called the Živno visa or business visa, freelance visa, however you find it. And I explain everything there because that's the most complicated type of visa to get. As for the driver's license, I honestly don't know what you need to get it for like trucks. I guess you would need to go through a truck driver school, but honestly, I don't know. Ella Gaeta, sir, about PCC, how many long validity? Depends on what you want to use it for. For a trade license, it's 3 months. For a visa, 6 months, 180 days. Shekar asks, how much yearly income I must have as a freelancer to apply for a residence permit? Well, it depends on your situation. If you're just yourself, I believe you mentioned the spouse and everything, but if you're just yourself, that would be 17,000 plus 5, so let's say 22 after all the taxes, social security, everything. But it also depends on how you do your taxes, because if you're a freelancer, the thing that the ministry is looking at is your tax return. And depending on what numbers are in your tax return, you will either qualify for the residence permit or not. So if you're a freelancer and you want to use the income for your residence permit, you need to be super careful about how you do your taxes. And you should hire an accountant who knows what they're doing. If you need any tip, recommendation, get in touch. I'll be happy to connect you to the guy we work with. If you have someone else, that's fine, but just make sure that they understand how much you need to be making and how the ministry is calculating that. AS or AHS channel, hello there, hi, thank you for joining. Drukul, okay, thank you, sir, my pleasure. Vanioni Joseph, where are your contacts? Thanks, good you are doing. I usually share a link in the description of the videos. Probably not the last one, maybe not the last two, but all the other videos before that have a link where which you can fill in, and we'll get back to you. I'm from Kenya, Africa. Okay, in that case, I would probably choose a different country for the business visa, because that's we've had freelancers from African countries as well. We had a model, we had English teachers, we had other, but it will be very difficult. The business visa generally is one of the most complicated visas to get. Plus, if you're from some African country, then it gets even more complicated. So, of course, if you wish to discuss, get in touch. We'll be happy to arrange a consultation about that. Maybe it will work out, but honestly speaking, the chances are pretty low. Subhash, is it possible to reschedule the appointment date? Oh, come on. Everyone complains how complicated it is to get an appointment, and you would like to reschedule it when you get it. Come on, man. It's not possible. It's not possible. If you miss the date, you need to try again the next month the same way as every month. Ismail, hi there. Hi, Ismail. Thank you for joining. Lillian, can someone work with visitor's visa? Not really. Not really. If it's like visitor, depends on what you mean. If you mean a tourist visa, then you are supposed to come here and tourist. So do the sightseeings and everything, but not really to work. If you want to work while here, even under the short-term visa, then you would need to get a work short-term visa. Litton Alom, is it possible Czech language A2 course complete 1 year? I guess it depends on how good you are and how fast you can learn. Prague Parata. Can we keep driving with international driver's license from the country of origin after shifting to Czechia? Well, you should exchange it at some point, but you will not be able to exchange it before you reach 6 months. And also depending on where the driver's license is from, you might never be able to exchange it. You would need to go through a Czech driver's school. So it depends on many things. Ismail, very professional, very good way. You explained what domain or business you are in, mate. Well, I'm a co-founder of a company called Move to Prague Relocation Experts. Movetoprague.com. If you just type in Google movetoprague.com or move to Prague, it will find us. We're in relocation, immigration. So if you move into the Czech Republic, either as an EU citizen, non-EU citizen, student, employee, freelancer, we can help you with everything you need, from visas to finding accommodation, getting health insurance, starting a business, everything basically. Starlit Fuse. Hello, Jan. How are you? How are you? How can I verify the equivalency of my degree? If you have a degree, a diploma from some non-Czech university, and you want to get it recognized in the Czech Republic, you need to go through a process called nostrification. Again, if you go to my channel, I made a video about that, maybe 2 already, because I've covered all the topics on the channel, 400 videos in 2 years, so it's a lot. Yeah, but generally, to give you the idea, if you want to know more, refer to the video, but just to give you an idea, it works the way, it's different for high school diplomas and for university diplomas. University diplomas are a bit easier, so I will explain there. The high school diploma would be a bit more complicated. But let's say you have a bachelor's degree from India. You want to use it in the Czech Republic. You want to get it recognized here. So you generally need to get your diploma, apostilled, translated into Czech, your transcript, apostilled and translated into Czech, and then you need to find a local university which provides a similar program of what you studied. So if you studied computer science, you need to find a university which has a program in computer science. Then you send your documents to the university and request them to check your diploma and see if it's like similar to the Czech program, what you would study here. They take your transcripts, they see how many hours of what subject you studied, they compare it with their curriculum and like how many hours of that subject you would study in the Czech Republic. And if it's close enough, they give you the nostrification, basically saying that the diploma you got is equivalent to what you would get here because you studied the same subjects and same amount of hours, all that. If it's different, significantly different, they will not give you the nostrification. They will tell you, okay, your education is not equal to the Czech one. But in that case, you can try another university which provides a similar program and you can try there. So this is briefly how it works. Vanioni Joseph, are there opportunities for accountants from Kenya, Africa? Honestly, I don't know. I would not really say that they are. It seems to be a very niche market, because I can imagine that tax laws and accountancy is completely different in every country. They have different laws, or like significantly different, not completely maybe, but significantly. So I cannot imagine how you would use a knowledge of Kenyan accountancy in the Czech Republic. So if you found some company which maybe does some business with Kenya, maybe, or maybe in some international companies like Deloitte or like the big like firms, they might have some branches or they might have some business there. So it's possible that they might be looking for that, but I think that's a very niche situation. Chris Otieno, my agent applied for a short work visa for 2 months, 2 months ago, and we are still waiting. Does it take this long? And are the vocational colleges that offer diploma to an international students there? Well, we don't really do short-term visas, but short-term visas generally should be approved within 2 months. 2 months, 2 weeks from our experience. So I think 2 months is a pretty long time for a short-term visa. But again, we don't really deal with those, so it's hard to say for sure. As for vocational colleges, I guess there are some which accept foreign students, but honestly, I don't think we've ever had anyone like that. So I cannot say from experience. Ismail, I'm very thankful. May I know your name, please, and your contact details, as I'm a licensed recruiter. My name should be somewhere here. If you just go to my channel, there must be some option like to click somewhere and just go to my channel. You will find all the details there. Subhash, do they question a lot about our previous education if we applied for master's degree? It depends. Of course, the thing is that it must make sense. You know, if you studied like hospitality and now you want to study computer science, they might kind of wonder what happened there. Also, if you finished bachelor's like 10 years ago and now you want to study master's, they might question why you waited that long, all that. So it depends. Like generally, what the ministry is trying to see if you're genuine and if you really want to study here, or if you're just faking the application to get to Europe. And so as long as it makes sense and you can explain stuff and you really have motivation to study in the Czech Republic, you should be fine. But if you're trying to fake something, or if you get nervous and you say something you shouldn't, then it could be a problem. Hindi gamers, what about Indian citizen? Not sure what you mean. I've talked about India and Indian applications a lot during this live stream. But guys, I will be finishing the live stream soon. It's been almost 1 hour. I'm grateful for you being here and asking questions. It's been going well. That keeps the live stream going. But it's been almost 1 hour of me talking, so I'm becoming pretty tired. My voice is becoming pretty tired. So I'll answer the questions that are here now. Finishing with Manuel Arias Soto, and Tommy Shelby, Ismail, and then I'll finish the live stream. So Manuel Arias Soto, is true that permanent residence holders have some voting rights? If yes, does that apply to non-EU citizens with permanent residency card? Regarding citizenship, is it 10 years in total, no matter if it's 6 years with employee cards and 4 with permanent residency, or necessary should be after meeting 5 years of permanent residency? So I'll start from the back. Permanent residency, you can generally apply either after 10 years of being here, if you have a permanent residency at the moment, or after having 5 years of the permanent residency. So it's either or. So if you spend here 10 years as a student, now you get a permanent residency, you can immediately apply for the Czech citizenship because it's been 10 years in total and you have the PR. Or if you, for example, are a family member of a new citizen, you got the temporary residency for 2 years, then you get a PR, then after 5 years of PR, you can apply for citizenship. So in 7 years in total, 2 plus 5 of the PR. So it's either or, either 10 years of total and having a permanent residency, or 5 years of permanent residency. And that what was before the question. Voting rights, yes, that's true. It depends kind of on if you are an EU or non-EU citizen, but yes, with the PR you get some voting rights. But I would say it's mainly, I don't know too much about that because it's not very common topic or question or something we would sort often. But I would say that you can vote in some like local elections in your like city or something, but not really for a president or stuff like that. But again, it's not something I know much about. So Abhilash, thanks for the previous freelancing explanation. And one more question: is it possible to do part-time or online university studies while working in Czech? And how about the fees and admission process? Fees, admission process, I have no idea about that. You need to find the school you want to study and then see what they what are their requirements and prices. And as for studying, yes, if you have an employee card and you keep the job, or blue card for that matter, and you keep the job and you manage to study on the side, that's fine, you can do that. But you always need to keep the job. And as long as you can do that, you are free to study as well. Vanioni, thanks Jan, my pleasure. Ismail, licensed recruitment company and are interested in doing with professional people like you. Thank you. Thank you. Tommy Shelby, is it illegal to speak about Nazi Germany and the Austrian painter in the Czech Republic? That's a very weird and random question to me. Well, I don't think it's illegal. We don't have any like, you can speak about whatever you want. So if you say like Hitler or something, that will not get you into trouble, and there is no reason why it should be getting you into trouble. So speaking about that, that's fine. But if you go outside and you start like hailing and like showing some kind of racism towards people, then it's definitely illegal, and you could get in trouble for that. So just talking about Nazi Germany, about Hitler and whatever, that's not a crime, that's not a problem. You can do it in public, whatever. But as long as you don't show any signs of racism. If you show that, then you can get into trouble. And with this weird question, I'm wrapping it up. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I did that on purpose, but I think it's kind of clear that I have nothing to do with that. I don't agree with that. I don't do it to spread any racism, and that will not get me into trouble. But if you went outside and you did that, and you started like shouting some words they used to use, that would be a problem. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for joining, and I will see you again Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world. Good night.